I've got 30 days until I hit one of Colorado's biggest bike parks. I'm not going there to race or set records. I'm going to have the most fun possible without leaving in the ambulance. That means upgrading my Santa Cruz V10 into the ultimate park bike and training myself to handle it better. This is Countdown to Colorado. Let me set the stage because this trip is a big deal for me. I'm 35 years old and I have 5 kids. One's a newborn. I'm self-employed with no team behind me, it's just me. My wife will be wrangling 4 young boys while I hop on a plane to go ride bikes. I don't take that lightly. Trestle Bike Park isn't just another trail system. It's a lift access bike park in the Colorado Rockies that's faster, steeper, and longer than anything I ride. So for the next 30 days, I'm not just dialing in my bike, I'm dialing in myself too. Right now, I'm 176 pounds and 23% body fat. I average 4 to 6 hours of high intensity training a week, mostly on Zwift. But this month, I'm going all in. Gym sessions, daily stretching, cleaning up the diet to perfection and counting every calorie. I want to be strong enough to hold onto the bike if things get sketchy. And if I crash, God forbid, I want to bounce, not break. I have a family to provide for. I can't afford to be sidelined. But some people might be rolling their eyes saying, oh, it's just a bike park trip. But if you're in a similar season of life, you get it. So let's talk about the bike, the Santa Cruz V10. I got this bike as a demo, and in that video, I said I'd buy it if I hit 4,000 likes, and that video blew up. So I bought it. I've spent a day bracketing suspension settings at Lake Leatherwood, and no matter what I tried, I couldn't get this bike to feel right. It was either too soft, too harsh, or not enough grip. But I'm not ready to throw out the stock suspension just yet. I want to make little changes first, starting with a stiffer spring. On this one, I was bottoming out on enduro trails. At Trestle, I'll be going like twice as fast. And while I'm at it, let's start sprucing up this bike too. This Santa Cruz V10 is an iconic bike in the mountain bike world, but right now with this all black, it looks kind of bland. So I bought these matte chrome decals from Slick Graphics, and this also gives a sense for the color scheme that I'm going for. So let's get to work. So I'm going with a 550 pound spring, but I really wonder if I should buy a 600 pound just in case. The POV from Trestle looks like you can get going 40 miles per hour, no problem. So if you've been to Trestle before, give me some tips in the comments on how to set up this bike and how to survive that bike park. I really wanted to go to Whistler this year, but with the baby coming, hopefully next year. A quick note about training for this trip. I've had a few times where I announce on this channel that I'm getting in shape, but this time it's different. Before I had let myself go, I was out of shape. This time around, I've been grinding on the Zwift bike for months now and casually hitting the gym since last year. I am primed and ready for this month's training. And you can follow me on Strava if you want to see what I'm up to. All right, next up, tires. And for some reason, the only Maxxis tires that I ever get along with are standard EXO casings. Anything thicker just feels too stiff to me, like the tire doesn't deform enough to get the grip that I want. So I'm going with a combo that's worked great for me in the past. Schwalbe Magic Mary front and rear in the radial gravity casing. These tires have threads that are woven in a way that absorbs bumps better in the tread pattern, and I use these tires at Windrock on my park bike, and I had boatloads of traction even though it was super dry. Yeah, these tires are a bit heavy, I think like 1,500 grams a piece, but on a downhill bike, weight doesn't matter. After years of riding and making videos, I've realized something. Tires might be the single biggest change you can make to your bike's performance. The brand, the casing, the tread pattern, they all change how your bike feels. It's easy to stick with whatever came on your bike, especially if it's treated you well. But every time I've stepped out of my comfort zone and tried something new, I've learned a ton. Sometimes I even found a setup that worked better than what I thought was perfect. A few months ago, I thought these Schwalbe radials were the best thing since sliced bread. But turns out for my local riding, they weren't quite it, even in the trail casings. For bike park laps though, I'm confident these are gonna shine. So if you've been running the same tire for years, maybe try something different. You might be surprised how much it changes your ride in a good way. And of course, I'm making my best educated guess on setup for this trestle trip. I could be completely wrong with these tires. So if you've ridden there, let me know. Is puncturing a big issue? Man, those tires made this bike look ultra aggressive. But real quick, I have a big announcement. After this trip, this Santa Cruz V10 right here is going to a new home. So starting today through September 6th, you have a chance to win this bike. Tickets start at just $5, and for this week only, if you buy more than one, you'll get a 10x ticket bonus. Now, because the Raffle site doesn't let me update the listing once the contest starts, rightfully so, if you click the link, you'll see a sneak preview of what this V10 will look like in its finished form, even if I haven't revealed everything yet in the videos. So yeah, maybe a few spoilers, but it's worth it. This thing is gonna be nuts. This contest is open to the USA only this time, and as always, read all the official rules before entering. Links in the description. Good luck. Just a few finishing touches to help this bike feel a little more dialed before the next round of testing, starting with the grips. Because no matter how good the bike is, if your contact points are worn, it's gonna feel rough. These ones are a bit softer than stock, and Ergon grips are my absolute favorite. So I'd figured I'd give their DH Focus grips a try. And of course, I had to get a number plate. It's a downhill bike. It needs that race plate look. Plus, this ODI plate fits perfectly and ties the whole front end together. I almost felt like a poser buying this, but this plate really completes the look and makes me feel closer to motocross, my favorite sport. I regret nothing. About 10 years ago, I heard this phrase, look good, feel good, ride good. So I got some frame decals. On my last Santa Cruz, this was my favorite upgrade out of everything. For about $35, really transforms the bike. I had to email Slick Graphics for this custom color. It is matte chrome, and it will match my fork upgrade down the line. Dang, man, this is looking good. When I picture iconic V10, it has to look special, and this is a good start. But the only thing left to do now is go ride it. All right, I'm excited, man. It's always gonna be a good day when you pull out the downhill bike and go ride it. And the goal today is to really dial in that rear shock. I think a lot of the problems I was having before is just because the rear shock was sitting too low, so I couldn't really get a feel for the fork. I didn't have that balance yet, so I really wanna dial in that, and maybe I can dial in the fork at the same time. I remember the best thing I did for the Santa Cruz V10 is spend time dialing in that stock suspension just to get a feel for how the bike is designed, because that bike was pretty good. But then when I put on the really fancy Zeb Ultimate fork on there, oh man, that made a night and day difference. That was a huge improvement. And today I'm headed to Lake Leatherwood, which is an enduro shuttle park about 35 miles from Bentonville. It's like 350 feet of elevation, 3-minute long runs, and I really like the place, but the only issue is riding a downhill bike there. If it's not super steep, it feels like you're going uphill there. But I'm just super grateful I have something like that close by, because I don't want to be lugging that bike uphill on the Bentonville trails. That would just be awful. But we're getting pretty close. Let's go ride. All right, we made it here. I got all the pads on, got the knee pads, because I've crashed here quite a bit. And man, look how good this bike looks. I am super pumped on this thing. And the one downside is it rained a lot here yesterday. It's actually like 20 degrees cooler, which is super nice, and it's not as humid, but it's usually wet here anyway. And the last time I was here with the Maxxis tires, I just felt like I was riding on ice, especially on the slick rock with a little bit of moss. Dude, those Maxxis tires would not grip at all. I'm hoping the Schwalbe tires are a little bit better. But the other downside here is there's a little bit of a climb to get to each hub. So let's go do that. All right, here we go. Made it to the top. All right, do a little warm up on DH2. Oh, already lost traction. That's not good. These grips feel nice though already. I can feel the rubber where the palm is way softer. Whoa. Oh man, I think I finally got a good setting on the fork. Heck yeah. See how it does right here though. Yeah, I'm able to get some good grip. Finally. I love these tires too. Oh yeah. Oh, I feel so relieved. All right, now onto the rear shock. Man, I am so happy to get the fork dialed in. I know I said I'd do the rear shock, but I just started working on the fork and I can't believe it. There's like 18 clicks of compression available, and I think there's 17 for the rebound. So what I ended up doing is I slowed the rebound by like 5 clicks, and then I upped the compression. I firmed up the compression by, I think, 4 clicks, and that seemed to do the trick. And every time I was getting a little bit faster, and at the end of those runs, my arm pump was kind of eliminated. So really happy with that. But the next trail I'm gonna switch to is DH5. It's a little bit rocky, and I'm gonna start working on the rear shock here. So let's hit it. So hard to reach. All right, I think this is my third run tuning the rear shock. The rear never really felt bad after the spring change, so I've just been fine tuning it. I feel like it's in a pretty good spot and I'm pretty happy with it. Oh yeah. There's a couple things I'd like to try. Like, I feel like the bars are too narrow. They're 760s, which I like, but they just feel a little too narrow for this bike. And I might want to do the reach adjustment. Yeah, I'm feeling good now where I feel relaxed and I can just kind of, I don't know, not have tense muscles as I'm going through this, which is nice. That was a little goony though. Okay, so I feel relaxed. I feel one with the bike, and that's all I need, man. And I'm glad I added some air pressure. That was getting pretty sketchy. Rim strike galore. Oh, another rim strike. And finally, this bike is starting to feel pretty fast. I have to remind myself to take it easy. I'm really liking this bike now. It's pretty sick. Well, I think that's a pretty good spot to call it for the day. I got this bike feeling really good. I'd say it's a 7 out of 10 on feel. Before I had ridden the downhill bike, I had only ridden enduro. I'd never tried downhill bikes before. And I imagined it would be like this cushy pillow feeling, but not this bike. This bike you kind of get mid-travel and the bike just kind of rockets forward and it overall feels like a really fast bike. And I've had a long travel enduro bike that was more cushy than this bike feels. But of course, I don't really know what I'm doing setting up a downhill bike. It feels a lot different from what I'm used to. So if you have any tips or tricks, let me know in the comments. But there's still a lot more things I want to change out on this bike. So I'm dedicating the whole month of August to building out this V10. And don't forget, you can win this exact bike right here if you click the link in the description. And for the first week, you can get 10x ticket bonuses if you buy more than one ticket. So click the link, read all the official rules, and stay tuned because this build is going to be sick.